The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.
External merchandise trade of Georgia amounted to 16.6 billion USD in January-September 2023, 16.6% higher year-on-year according to the National Statistics Office of Georgia. As of the document, the value of exports increased by 12.7%, reaching 46 billion USD, while the imports increased 18.3%, amounted to 11.3 billion USD. The trade deficit equaled 6.7 billion USD, and its share in the trade turnover constituted 42.1%. Last week, the President of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, visited Georgia, during which the Prime Minister of Georgia and Ilham Aliyev discussed both geopolitical and economic issues: the Middle Corridor, the Black Sea submarine cable, Anaklia deep sea water port, were the main topics that the country's leaders focused on. What are the numbers behind Georgia and Azerbaijan economic ties? PMG will try to show this by observing the trend of direct foreign investment, trade, tourism and remittances. The history of Azerbaijan FDI in Georgia began in the 90s and reached its highest rate between 2015-2017. During this period, record high investment of 582 million USD were made in 2015. Recently, the amount invested in the country's economy from Azerbaijan was 1,780,000 USD last year, and in H1 2023, the FDI amounted to 1,680,000 USD. Azerbaijan is one of the most important trade partners for Georgia. According to the data of 7 months 2023, the volume of trade in goods of the countries amounted to 979,380,000 USD, which was 15.3% higher than last year. Thus, Azerbaijan occupied the 5th place in the ranking of the largest trade partners with 7% share. According to the statistics for 8 months of the current year, exports to Azerbaijan occupy the main part of the trade turnover. Azerbaijan took the 1st place in the 10 largest exporting markets during this period. In total, in January-August, Georgia sold goods worth 567,804 USD in the neighboring countries, which was 30.9% of the total exports. This number increased by 34.7% year-on-year. Top 10 exporting commodities were as follows: motorcars, tobacco and industrial tobacco substitutes, containers made of paper, packaged medical products, trucks, cattle, livestock, cotton and other solid waste, shipping goods, oil and oil products, including mineral waters, including mineral waters, as well as waters containing sugar additives. According to the data of 8 months, Azerbaijan occupies the 6th place in the ranking of the largest importing countries. This year, Georgia purchased goods worth 407,575,000 USD from this country, which was 3.8% less than last year's imports. Petroleum products are the major commodity groups purchased from Azerbaijan. The top 10 imported goods are as follows: petroleum gases and other hydrocarbons, oil and oil products, cement, carbon steel rods, motorcars, products made of gypsum and mixture based on it, plaster, copper ores and concentrates, cigarettes and cigarettes made of tobacco and its substitutes, onions. The number of remittances from Azerbaijan to Georgia is not so great. During the first 8 months of the year, 3,880,000 USD were transferred from Azerbaijan to Georgia, which was 1.35% of the total remittances. Compared to the last year, transfers from neighboring countries decreased by 20.16%. As for tourists, it's necessary to take into account that the fact after the start of the pandemic, Azerbaijan's land borders with its neighbors, including Georgia, have been closed, and Azerbaijan side has not announced when it will be opened. Considering this situation, Azerbaijan visitors made same 85,000 visits to Georgia in the first half of 2023, which is 28.2% higher than the figure of the same period of 2022 and 86.2% lower than the pre-pandemic numbers. The economic partnership between Georgia and Israel is deepening from year to year. What are the data of investments, trade, tourism, and shipments between the countries, and what trends are observed in terms of economic relations? BMW will try to present this in numbers. The inflow of FDI from Israel in Georgia started in 2001 in small volumes, and the largest investment in the country was made in 2015 in the amount of $37,661,000 USD. Last year, a total of $35,093,000 USD we invested in Georgia from Israel in the first half of the country, which was significantly lower than last year's number. The dynamics of trading goods between Georgia and Israel have been changing over the years, but after the pandemic, it's characterized by a positive trend. In January-August of this year, it amounted to $33,942,000 USD, which was 6.3% more compared to the same period last year. In terms of goods trade with Israel, the main place is occupied by exports. In the first 8 months of the year, Georgia received $30,530,000 USD from the goods sold in Israel. This is almost the same indicator as in the same period last year. Top 5 goods exported from Georgia are as follows: equipment for transmitting radio, telephony, radio broadcasting and television, water, including mineral containing sugar additives, aircraft parts, polywood glued panels made of wood and similar materials from mixed wood, optical elements. As for imports, during the first 8 months of the year, Georgia bought goods of different denominations with $10,412,000 USD from Georgia to Israel. Imports increased by 10% annually. Top 10 imported goods are as follows: cosmetic or makeup and skincare products, washing and cleaning products, vegetable prepared or canned, not frozen, tiles, sheets from other polymer materials, parts intended for TV radio equipment. As for tourists, Georgia is one of the interesting tourist destinations for the population of Israel. As the statistics show, during the last year, a total of 210,000 visitors were made by Israel visitors to our country, which was 108% more than 2021 figure and 2.5% more than 2019 figure. In the first half of 2023, the number of visits from Israel already reached 530,000. This number exceeded the January-June 2022 figure by 26% and 2019 by 38.1%. The contribution of Israel tourists to the international travel revenues is significant, which expect for the pandemic 2020 is mostly increasing. Visitors from Israel spent 148 million USD in Georgia in 6 months of this year. In total, the share of this country in recent tourist revenues is up to 5.5 billion USD per year. Israel is included in the top 10 of the countries by remittances received in Georgia and occupies the 7th place this year. 16,770,000 USD came from Israel in the form of remittances. Israel took a 4.84% share in total volume of transfers. This indicator has decreased by 6.7% compared to the statistics of 8 months of last year. On Tuesday, the official visit of Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban began to Georgia. A face-to-face meeting took place between Viktor Orban and Irakli Garibashvili, after which Orban and Garibashvili held a joint briefing. The gross domestic product of Hungary is 189 billion USD and the GDP per capita in current prices is 18.7 thousand USD, which puts it ahead of only 4 EU countries: Poland, Croatia, Romania and Bulgaria. Economic ties between Georgia and Hungary are quite small. In 2022, the trade turnover between the two countries was 60.6 million USD, of which 95% was Georgia's imports, and exports were only 3.1 million USD. Medicines are the main trade goods, as Hungary is one of the largest producers of medicines in the European Union, among which the largest company is Gedeon Richter. In 8 months of 2023, Georgia purchased goods worth 46 million USD from Hungary, of which 24.3 million USD accounted for the medicines, followed by meat products with 2.4 million USD, auto imports with 2.3 million USD, toothpaste worth 2 million USD, and pesticides worth 1 million USD. Georgia's export is much more modest, which was only 600,000 USD in 8 months of 2023. Among them, only 2 goods exported 100,000 USD. These are clothes in the amount of 200,000 USD and fruit juices in the amount of 111,000 USD. The third place in the export is re-export of mobile phones in the amount of 88,000 USD. As for other economic ties, in the first half of 2023, FDI worth 2.7 million USD came from Hungary to Georgia. Georgia receives about 2-3 million USD of Hungarian investments every year. Georgia-Hungary tourist connections are quite small. In the first half of 2023, 2,500 Hungarian citizens entered Georgia, which is 70% more than the previous year. For comparison, visitors from all EU countries made 162,000 visits to Georgia in the first half of the year, of which 1.6% came from Hungarian citizens. In 2022, 4,000 visitors from Hungary were made to Georgia, and in 2021, Hungarian citizens made 3,500 visits to Georgia.
The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.